Recording now.
Here we go.
Oh.
All right, people of the Burnout Coaches Group and anyone else who's seen this on social media, today I am doing a Burnout Coach Spotlight with Janet Nambi, and very excited. We haven't spoken for, I don't know, it's going to be a year or two now. And Janet works on Burnout with, is it a year? I don't know. Janet works with high achieving women entrepreneurs and managers in burnout. And without further ado, I'm just going to turn over to you and ask Janet how you came to start burnout coaching. What was your journey to that start point?
All right. I was a recruiter before I got into coaching. Now, I had spent 10 years as a recruiter. I owned a partnership with two others, and it was going so great. And then around ninth year, I thought, what is going on with me? I do not want to go to work anymore. I'm not excited anymore. And when we started this business, we started it at the right time in this market. I live in Uganda right now. So we started right when I left the US and came back in 2006. And it was perfect timing. I mean, I was so excited to be an entrepreneur. It was so successful. We opened 6 offices within the African region. And that's exactly why I'm here, because I ended up burning out. I mean, 10 years later, I just couldn't go on anymore. I usually say I was fed up of being fed up. So, with burnout, you get to that point where you just not, you're making the money, but it's just not enough. You're not fulfilled. And I just, at the 10th year mark, I decided to part ways with my partners. It was like a divorce, but I needed to go and find myself and figure out what else was out there that I could do that would bring me joy. And I actually only decided my niche last year, at the beginning of last year. And I thought, wait a minute, I was hopping around various niches because I believe I can, I can help with so many, with all of my, with the skills and background that I have. And until last year, I was like, why am I running away from this? There's so many women out there who need it. So that's why I decided to focus on, to specialize and specifically work with women in burnout. That's how I got here. I did certify with the Life Coach School in 2020. When I left the business, I actually went on a spiritual journey, and because you feel like you need this anchor when you're burning out. It's like you want to hold on to something that's going to make you feel good. And at that time, it was my spirituality, and it did help. It was an anchor, but through that process, I discovered the Life Coach School. I was going through a lot of emotional challenges in my relationships and all. So when I discovered the Life Coach School, that was it. I parked right there. Got my certification in 2020, October 2020. And here I am now.
Superb. And I love it that you're serving other women entrepreneurs and managers, because the number of humans in general that are burnt out right now is enormous. But I think it's great that the women get the support when they have it hard, even without burnout, quite often.
Yeah. Yes.
How did you yourself come out of burnout? Was it this spiritual journey?
No, it wasn't enough. The spiritual journey was an anchor. It helped me. It gave me hope. It helped me hold on to, life. But I actually had to go. When I went through the Life Coach School, it was a good experience. That was the start, I think, of my healing journey, because I was going through so much. And I needed that. I needed that to kind of solidify and give me the practical skills to be able to work through whatever I was going through, to work through the healing and all of that. I did a mental and emotional release practitioner course, as well as NLP. That's where I started, actually. It was NLP, then mental and emotional release. I was looking for things that were going to help me heal. And the Life Coach School actually sealed. It was like the icing on the cake. And so I needed the coaching. I absolutely needed the coaching to do that deep dive. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
I'm with you. It was a really big part of my recovery as well. And that's partly why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. But I'm curious, because you talk about bringing your women entrepreneurs and managers out of burnout in 4 weeks. Where are the points of focus for you in that? What are your headliners?
So what happens is most people who are experiencing burnout are, first of all, they don't even know that they can focus on how they feel and work through that. And the reason I say 4 weeks is because as you're talking to somebody in the first session, the very first session, there are those light bulb moments that go off because you're just showing a different perspective from what they were thinking that was causing them the pain. So that's what I focus on. And in first session, second session, there's all this, wow, ooh, wow, really? I have a new client. We've only done 2 sessions. She works in New York. She works at a bank, very hectic environment. And she calls me up and I need to sign up. I need to sign up right now because this is just not right. I'm like, what's not right? Oh, she signs up. First session, she's telling me about her boss rather, how he's not introducing her to the key stakeholders in the organization. And yet she's done so much work. I am so good at what I do. I really must be sitting up there doing the presentations at a higher level and all of that story about why her manager is not helping her get up there. So I asked her in the end, I say to her, how would you do it if you were in his shoes? And everything she narrated, I say to her, how about you do that for yourself? What would it look like if you did it for yourself? She was like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're talking about self-leadership here, right? She's like, no, but I'm like, yeah, I know it's his responsibility, but we could sit here and wait for him, or you could do it yourself, So in just one session, she had such a, I think it was a gratifying experience, if I could call it that. It was such a huge light bulb. What I also do to cement that and to help them heal quicker, I do share podcasts with them. And thanks to you, I throw a lot of your podcasts to my clients. And I do share a lot on the emotional healing side. I share a lot from the Life Coach School. And then other leadership podcasts like Coaching for Leaders, Entree Leadership. So I have sources that I'm picking up. So in between sessions, they are listening to these and they are actually continuing that healing process. So that's how it happens so quickly for them in 4 weeks. They feel a lot better within 4 weeks, a whole lot better. And it makes my job easier trying to help them get towards their goal.
Beautiful. You have a similar kind of slant on it than I do. I think we may have conferred on this privately. But let me ask you this then. If you were going to pass on one of your top tips, something that really works for you to the coaches, particularly in the coaching group, what would you offer?
To the coaches in the coaching group, I would say that, I know the one lesson that I have learned a lot is when clients come to us, they think they want something. They think they need something. And sometimes in the beginning, it's very, I know I used to think, wow, am I going to help them get what they want? And then is it the want? But we give them what they really need. Is that what it is? The want and the need. English is my second language, so pardon me here. But yeah, so I used to get a little anxious, and especially when I'm getting a new experience, for example. Whereas I've been an MD before, and I've been a director, and I've been an entrepreneur before, I had somebody come to me who heads an organization, has much bigger responsibility than I have. And I thought this could be a little tricky, but there's nothing serious about what they bring, that franticness that they come with. They are just looking for somebody pretty much to talk to. But also what has helped me, I think, is having, as a burnout coach specifically, it's having a little more knowledge on the trauma experiences and that, what do we call that? Like, I did the mental and emotional release, and it gave me a whole lot of background on how we react to our emotions. Yeah. So it would be helpful to have that, because these are people who are A types, they are high achievers, they are high performers, and when they get themselves wrapped in all of that stress, they have no idea how to release. So I use some techniques from the mental and emotional release program to help them relieve some of that stress. And it would help for any coach to have something, whether it's tapping, whether it's, all of those techniques that help us. And I noticed that you're going to do one that I've considered, but, for another, story for another time, maybe. The one that you're doing in March, Dex, I think. I've looked into that before. EFT, is it EFT?
EFT, I already am a practitioner, but I'm adding on something called matrix re-imprinting, which is specifically about managing trauma memories and releasing trauma memories from the body and the psyche.
Never heard of that. First time hearing about that, but I've considered EFT. But for now, I'm using my MER techniques.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think it really matters so much what technique that you use. I think it matters that you do use an emotional and mental release technique of some kind.
Yes.
I think whatever people use is working for them. So I was just drawn to this. I think it's fantastic, but we'll see. I will report back in this group as well. All right. So anything else you'd like to tell us about you? Excuse me, your work? Anything else springing to mind?
Anything else that springs to mind, especially about me, as I mentioned earlier, I am in Uganda. However, I am actually a US citizen. So I love working with my people here, but it's been an interesting journey in this continent, trying to break out, trying to break through. And although there's such a huge need, So, it's what I've learned especially is, not to take anything serious, because it's been a tough journey trying to break through the market. Coaching is fairly new in this country. So, is it me or is Dex gone? Oh, there you are. Something happened.
I've been having a few tech problems today. Keep going.
No, saying it's been a tough journey for me trying to figure out how to break through this market. But although I'm not focusing just on the market in Uganda or in Africa, however, just want to let the coaches know out there that Africa is a very virgin market. Of course, it's easiest working within your territory, but it's such a virgin market.
Are you planning to relocate to the US or are you going to stay in Africa?
Yes, I am. In December, I relocated my 18-year-old back so he can complete high school before college. And it got me really thinking that I'm probably going to do it sooner for the younger ones. So my goal right now, probably within the next 2 years, I might be relocating. Seriously considering it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so cool. Anything else you want to say quickly before we run out of time and exit?
If I would give anybody a tip, it is not that serious. That has been my biggest lesson throughout my coaching experience. Nothing is that serious. And as Marie Forleo says, everything is figure outable. That's been my biggest lesson in this journey.
You are a force for good, Janet. It's so good speaking with you again today. Thank you so much for coming on the spotlight. And we will catch you again soon.
I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. And have a good day.